Lila Carter stood at the entrance of the Brightspace construction office, her heart racing as she prepared for what she sensed would be a pivotal moment in her career. At 45, she had dedicated the last 15 years of her life to this company, pouring her passion and expertise into every project. As a project manager, Lila had navigated through countless challenges, from tight deadlines to complex client demands, always emerging stronger and more capable. Today, however, felt different. The air was thick with tension, and Lila couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. She had heard whispers around the office, murmurs of change that sent a chill down her spine. As she walked down the familiar hallway, memories flooded her mind. Successful projects, late nights spent with her team, and the camaraderie that had developed over the years. But now those memories felt overshadowed by an impending sense of loss. Lila took a deep breath and entered the conference room, where Sarah Mitchell, the CEO, awaited her. Sarah was known for her sharp mind and no-nonsense attitude, but today her expression was unreadable. Lila felt a knot tighten in her stomach as she approached the table, her palms slightly sweaty. She had always respected Sarah, but the uncertainty of this meeting made her anxious. "Lila, thank you for coming," Sarah said, her voice steady but lacking warmth. "Please have a seat." As Lila settled into the chair across from Sarah, she couldn't help but notice the way Sarah's eyes flickered with something. Was it satisfaction? Or perhaps something more sinister? Lila's instincts kicked in, and she braced herself for what was to come. "Be careful consideration, we've decided to make some changes in the management structure," Sarah began, her tone professional yet cold. "We will be bringing in a new project manager, someone younger, to take over your role. Emma, a recent graduate, will be joining us next week." The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, and Lila felt her heart drop. "You're replacing me with someone younger?" she asked, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions brewing inside her. "What about my experience? My contribution?" Sarah leaned back in her chair, her expression unyielding. "It's time for fresh perspectives, Lila. You've done great work, but we believe a new approach is necessary." Lila's mind raced. She had dedicated her life to this company, and now it felt like everything was being stripped away in an instant. But instead of lashing out, she took a deep breath, reminding herself of the importance of composure. "I appreciate the notice, Sarah," she replied, her voice calm. "Will there be a formal announcement?" "Yes, we'll announce it at the department meeting on Monday," Sarah said, already turning her attention back to her computer screen, dismissing Lila as if she were just another piece of furniture in the room. As Lila stood up, smoothing her blazer, she felt a strange sense of calm wash over her. She had learned over the years that patience and resilience were her greatest allies. Little did Sarah know, Lila was holding on to a secret that would change everything. With a thin smile, Lila walked out of the office, her mind racing with thoughts of the upcoming board meeting. She had a plan, and she was determined to execute it flawlessly. "Everything okay?" asked Javier, her colleague from the adjacent cubicle, his eyes filled with genuine concern. He had seen too many people walk the same path, faces drawn with shock and disappointment. "Never better," Lila replied, her voice low enough to avoid attracting attention. "Just the usual Friday drama." As she returned to her desk, Lila couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. She had a meeting with Sarah 3 weeks ago that had changed everything. It was a call she had never expected, a direct line to the CEO on a quiet Sunday afternoon while she tended to her rooftop garden. "Lila, we need to talk about your future at Brightspace," Sarah had said, her tone relaxed yet direct. "Can you meet me at the cafe tomorrow at 7 a.m.? The memory of that morning was still vivid. Layla had arrived at the cafe, her heart pounding with anticipation. Sarah had been waiting, her demeanor serious yet inviting. "I want you to be part of a new initiative," she had said, outlining a project that would redefine the company's approach to construction. Lila had been taken aback by the offer, overwhelmed by the prospect of leading such a significant project. But now, as she sat at her desk, the weight of the impending announcement loomed over her like a dark cloud. The next few days would be crucial. Lila was determined to turn the tables and show everyone that experience and wisdom still held value in a world that often favored youth. Lila spent the weekend preparing for the inevitable announcement. She meticulously organized her notes, reviewed her projects, and mentally rehearsed her responses. The thought of being replaced by someone fresh out of college gnawed at her, but she refused to let it deter her. Instead, she focused on the upcoming board meeting, where she would have the opportunity to reveal her secret. Monday morning arrived, and Lila dressed with purpose, donning a tailored navy suit that exuded confidence. She arrived at the office early, the familiar hum of activity filling the air. Colleagues greeted her with warm smiles, unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Lila took her usual seat in the conference room, her heart racing as she prepared for the meeting. As the clock ticked closer to 10 a.m., the room filled with engineers and project managers, buzzing with the usual Monday morning energy. Lila exchanged pleasantries with her colleagues, all the while keeping her composure. She could feel the tension in the air, a mix of excitement and apprehension as everyone awaited Sarah's announcement. Finally, Sarah entered the room, her presence commanding immediate attention. "Good morning, everyone," she announced, clapping her hands together. "Before we dive into project updates, I have an important announcement to make." Lila's heart raced as she braced herself for the news. "I'd like to introduce Emma Parker, who will be joining our team as the new project manager. Lila will be transitioning out of her role to pursue other opportunities." The words hit Lila like a punch to the gut. She kept her expression neutral, but inside a whirlwind of emotions raged. She could feel the curious and sympathetic glances from her colleagues, their eyes filled with concern. "Lila has been with us for 15 years, Sarah continued, her tone suggesting she was bestowing a great honor upon Lila by acknowledging her service. "We appreciate her contributions and wish her the best in her future endeavors. Please make Emma feel welcome as she transitions into this important role." Emma, a bright-eyed young woman, waved nervously, her excitement palpable. "I'm really excited to join the team. I've heard so many great things about Brightspace," she said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. As the meeting progressed through project updates and quarterly targets, Lila noticed Sarah watching her closely, perhaps expecting an outburst or sign of distress. Instead, Lila participated normally, offering insights on her current projects and volunteering to help with a challenging client issue. After the meeting, Emma approached Lila tentatively. "Miss Carter said you'd be showing me the ropes this week," she said, her voice a mix of eagerness and uncertainty. "Of course," Lila replied, gesturing for her to follow. "Please, call me Lila." As they walked to Lila's workspace, she felt a pang of sympathy for Emma. The young woman was merely a pawn in Sarah's game, unaware of the complicated dynamics she had stepped into. "First thing you should know," Lila said once they reached her desk, "is that working at Brightspace is as much about navigating office politics as it is about technical skills." Emma looked surprised by Lila's frankness. "I thought it would be more merit-based," she replied, her brow furrowing. "It should be," Lila smiled, "but sometimes it's not that simple." The next 3 days passed in a blur of knowledge transfer sessions, project handoffs, and careful documentation of Lila's workflow. Throughout it all, Lila maintained her professional demeanor, giving Emma every advantage she could without revealing her true circumstances. On Wednesday afternoon, Sarah called a company-wide meeting for Friday morning, the day after the board meeting. The email mentioned exciting organizational changes and new leadership announcements. Lila felt a surge of anticipation. This was her moment. "Do you know what this is about?" Sarah asked casually as she passed Lila's desk, her tone deceptively light. "No idea," Lila lied smoothly, suppressing a smile. "Perhaps they finally found someone to fill that VP position that's been vacant." Sarah nodded, satisfied with Lila's apparent ignorance, and walked away. Thursday morning arrived with a strange sense of calm washing over Lila. She had prepared meticulously for this day, choosing her outfit with particular care. A tailored charcoal suit accented with a subtle jade silk blouse that brought out the green in her eyes. It was an executive look, one that would command respect without raising suspicion. As she arrived at work, Lila found her going-away party in full swing, a sad spread of supermarket cupcakes and lukewarm coffee in the break room. Colleagues had signed a card with generic well-wishes and memories of projects they had tackled together. Lila accepted their condolences with grace, playing her part in this corporate theater. "Lila, we'll miss you around here," Javier said, giving her an awkward side hug. "It won't be the same without your problem-solving magic." "Thank you," Lila replied, meaning it. Many of these people were genuine colleagues who had no part in Sarah's machinations. As the day wore on, Lila felt a mix of emotions, sadness for leaving her team, but also excitement for what lay ahead. She had a plan, and she was ready to execute it. As the clock ticked closer to the board meeting, Lila's mind raced with thoughts of the past few weeks. She had been preparing for this moment, but the weight of her secret felt heavier than ever. The meeting with Sarah 3 weeks ago had changed everything, and now it was time to reveal the truth. Lila recalled that fateful Sunday afternoon when Sarah had called her. "Lila, we need to talk about your future at Brightspace," Sarah had said, her tone relaxed yet direct. "Can you meet me at the cafe tomorrow at 7 a.m.? Lila had felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. She had arrived at the cafe early, her heart pounding with anticipation. Sarah had been waiting, her demeanor serious yet inviting. "I want you to be part of a new initiative," she had said, outlining a project that would redefine the company's approach to construction. The project was ambitious, involving a major partnership with a sustainable materials supplier. Sarah had praised Lila's innovative ideas and leadership skills, emphasizing how crucial she would be to the project's success. Lila had been overwhelmed by the offer, feeling a renewed sense of purpose, but now, as she prepared to leave her position, she couldn't help but feel a sense of betrayal. Lila had signed a non-disclosure agreement regarding the project, but she knew that the board meeting would be the perfect opportunity to leverage her knowledge. If she could present her case effectively, she might not only secure her position, but also expose the flaws in Sarah's decision-making. As she sat at her desk, Lila checked her phone for the time. The board meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. and she needed to be ready. She reviewed her notes one last time, ensuring she had all the details of the project fresh in her mind. Lila felt a surge of determination. She would not let Sarah's decision define her. As the hours dragged on, and Lila found herself lost in thought, she felt a mix of sadness and resolve as she prepared to say goodbye to her colleagues. They had been her support system, and she would miss the camaraderie they had built over the years. But she also knew that this was her chance to reclaim her narrative. When the clock struck 1:30 p.m., Lila made her way to the executive entrance of the conference room. She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins as she approached the door. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. As she entered the boardroom, Lila was greeted by the sight of the board members already seated around the massive mahogany table. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, and she could sense the weight of their expectations. Lila took a deep breath, reminding herself of her purpose. At precisely 2 p.m., Sarah entered the room, her expression confident as she greeted the board members. Lila watched as Sarah began her presentation, outlining the company's recent successes and future goals. But Lila knew that the real discussion would come when Sarah announced the personnel changes. "Now, I'd like to address some changes in our management structure," Sarah said, her voice steady. "We will be bringing in a new project manager, Emma Parker, to take over Lila's role. We believe this fresh perspective will benefit our team." Lila felt a surge of anger but quickly suppressed it. This was her moment to shine. As Sarah continued, Lila prepared to interject. "Excuse me, Sarah," Lila said, standing up. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to her. "I'd like to address the board regarding my recent projects and the new initiative I've been working on." Sarah's expression shifted from confidence to surprise, but Lila pressed on. "3 weeks ago, I was approached by Sarah about leading a significant project that involves a partnership with a sustainable materials supplier. This initiative has the potential to redefine our approach to construction and significantly impact our bottom line." The board members exchanged glances, intrigued by Lila's sudden assertiveness. Sarah opened her mouth to respond, but Lila continued, her voice steady and clear. "I have already begun preliminary discussions with the supplier, and I believe that my experience and knowledge of our operations make me the ideal candidate to lead this project." Lila could see the surprise on Sarah's face, and she felt a rush of adrenaline. This was the moment she had been waiting for, the chance to reclaim her position and prove her worth. "Lila, I wasn't aware of this initiative being so far along," Sarah stammered, her confidence wavering. "We can discuss this after the meeting." "No, Sarah," Lila replied firmly. "This is too important to put off. The board deserves to know about the potential this project holds for our company." The tension in the room was palpable as Lila laid out the details of the project, highlighting its benefits and the strategic advantages it would bring to Brightspace. She could see the board members leaning in, captivated by her passion and expertise. As she concluded her presentation, Lila felt a sense of empowerment wash over her. She had taken control of the narrative, and now it was up to the board to decide how to proceed. The atmosphere in the boardroom shifted as Lila finished her presentation. The board members exchanged glances, clearly impressed by her knowledge and passion. Lila could feel the momentum building in her favor, and she was determined to capitalize on it. "Thank you, Lila," said William Harrison, the chairman of the board, breaking the silence. "Your insights are invaluable, and it's clear you've put a lot of thought into this initiative. I believe we should discuss this further." Lila's heart raced as she realized she had successfully captured their attention. She had turned the tables on Sarah, and now it was time to solidify her position. "I appreciate that, William. I truly believe this project can redefine our approach and set us apart in the industry," she replied, her voice steady. As the discussion continued, Lila felt a surge of confidence. She answered questions with ease, showcasing her deep understanding of the project and its implications for the company. The board members were engaged, nodding along as she spoke, and Lila could see Sarah's discomfort growing. "Lila, if this project is as promising as you say, what do you propose as the next steps?" asked another board member, intrigued. "I suggest we form a task force to explore this partnership further," Lila replied. "We can conduct a feasibility study and outline a strategic plan to present to the board in the next month. I'm confident that with the right resources, we can make this happen." Sarah shifted in her seat, clearly unsettled by Lila's assertiveness. "While I appreciate your enthusiasm, Lila, we need to consider the implications of taking on such a large project," she interjected, trying to regain control of the conversation. Lila met Sarah's gaze, refusing to back down. "I understand the concerns, Sarah, but this is an opportunity we cannot afford to miss. The construction industry is evolving, and we need to be at the forefront of that change. If we don't act now, we risk falling behind our competitors." The tension in the room was palpable as Lila's words hung in the air. She could see the board members weighing their options, and she knew she had to keep the momentum going. "I'm willing to lead this initiative and ensure its success. I believe my experience and dedication to Brightspace make me the right person for the job." William nodded thoughtfully. "I think we should take a vote on whether to pursue this initiative further. Lila, would you be willing to present your findings at the next board meeting?" "Absolutely," Lila replied, her heart swelling with pride. I'll prepare a comprehensive proposal outlining the project's potential and the steps we need to take." As the meeting continued, Leela felt a sense of exhilaration. She had not only defended her position, but had also positioned herself as a leader within the company. The board members were engaged, and she could see their interest in her proposal growing. When the meeting finally adjourned, Leela felt a rush of relief and triumph. She had successfully turned the tide in her favor, and now it was time to solidify her role in the company's future. As she walked out of the boardroom, Leela was met by Javier, who had been waiting outside. "You were amazing in there," he exclaimed, his eyes wide with admiration. "I knew you had it in you." "Thanks, Javier," Leela replied, a smile spreading across her face. "I just had to seize the moment." "Do you think Sarah will try to push back?" he asked, concern creeping into his voice. "I'm sure she will," Leela said, her expression turning serious. "But I'm ready for whatever comes next. I won't let her undermine my efforts." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity as Leela prepared for the upcoming board meeting. She gathered data, conducted research, and reached out to potential partners for the project. The more she delved into the details, the more excited she became about the possibilities. Leela also made a point to connect with Emma, the new project manager. She wanted to ensure that Emma felt supported and included in the team, despite the circumstances surrounding her hiring. "I know this is a lot to take in," Leela said during one of their meetings, "but I want you to know that I'm here to help you succeed." Emma looked relieved. "Thank you, Leela. I really appreciate that. I want to do a good job, but I feel a bit overwhelmed." "You'll do great," Leela reassured her. "Just remember, we're all in this together. Let's make sure we communicate openly and work as a team." As the days passed, Leela felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer just a project manager. She was a leader with a vision for the future of Brightspace. The upcoming board meeting would be her chance to solidify her role and ensure that her ideas were heard. The day of the board meeting arrived, and Leela felt a mix of excitement and nerves as she prepared to present her proposal. She arrived at the office early, ensuring that everything was in order. The conference room was set up with a large screen for her presentation, and she double-checked her notes one last time. As the clock approached 2 p.m., Leela took a deep breath, reminding herself of the hard work she had put into this moment. She had gathered data, crafted a compelling narrative, and rehearsed her delivery countless times. This was her opportunity to not only reclaim her position, but also to demonstrate her value to the company. The board members began to filter into the room, their expressions a mix of curiosity and anticipation. Leela greeted them with a warm smile, feeling a sense of camaraderie despite the underlying tension. She could see Sarah seated at the end of the table, her demeanor composed but her eyes betraying a hint of anxiety. Once everyone was settled, William Harrison called the meeting to order. "Thank you all for being here today. We have an important agenda, starting with Leela Carter's proposal for a new initiative that could significantly impact our company's future." Leela stood up, her heart racing as she approached the front of the room. She clicked the remote to start her presentation, and the first slide appeared on the screen. "Thank you, William, and thank you all for your time today. I'm excited to share my vision for a new project that focuses on sustainable construction materials and innovative practices." As she spoke, Leela felt the energy in the room shift. She outlined the project's objectives, the potential partnerships, and the benefits it would bring to Brightspace. She highlighted the growing demand for sustainable practices in the construction industry and how this initiative could position the company as a leader in that space. By embracing sustainability, we not only meet the demands of our clients, but also enhance our brand reputation and open new revenue streams, Leela explained, her voice steady and confident. "I believe this project aligns perfectly with our company's values and long-term goals." As she moved through her slides, Leela could see the board members nodding along, their interest piqued. She presented data on market trends, potential cost savings, and case studies from other companies that had successfully implemented similar initiatives. The more she spoke, the more she felt the board's support growing. When she reached the conclusion of her presentation, Leela paused for a moment, allowing the information to sink in. In conclusion, I propose that we form a task force to explore this initiative further. I am ready to lead this project and ensure its success, leveraging my experience and dedication to Brightspace. The room fell silent as the board members exchanged glances, clearly impressed. William leaned forward, his expression thoughtful. "Thank you, Lila. This is an impressive proposal. I believe we should open the floor for discussion." Sarah, who had been quiet throughout the presentation, finally spoke up. "While I appreciate Lila's enthusiasm, we must consider the resources required for such a large project. We have other priorities that need our attention." Lila felt a surge of determination. "I understand the concerns, Sarah, but this project is an opportunity we cannot afford to miss. The construction industry is evolving, and we need to be at the forefront of that change. If we don't act now, we risk falling behind our competitors." The board members began to discuss the proposal, weighing the pros and cons. Lila listened intently, ready to address any concerns that arose. She could see that her presentation had made an impact, and she was determined to keep the momentum going. After a thorough discussion, William turned to Lila. "I think we need to take a vote on whether to pursue this initiative further. All in favor of forming a task force to explore Lila's proposal?" One by one, the board members raised their hands in support. Lila's heart raced as she realized that her hard work had paid off. The vote passed overwhelmingly, and she felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Congratulations, Lila," William said, a smile breaking across his face. "We look forward to seeing how this initiative develops under your leadership." As the meeting adjourned, Lila felt a sense of triumph. She had not only defended her position but had also secured a new opportunity to lead a project that could redefine Brightspace's future. She exchanged smiles with her colleagues, who congratulated her on her success. When the room cleared, Lila approached Sarah, who was still seated at the table, her expression unreadable. "Thank you for your support during the meeting, Sarah," Lila said, her tone respectful. Sarah looked up, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Just remember, Lila, with great responsibility comes great scrutiny. I expect you to deliver results." "I will," Leela replied, her voice steady. "I'm committed to making this project a success." As Lila left the boardroom, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had faced her fears, stood up for herself, and emerged victorious. The future was bright, and she was ready to embrace the challenges ahead. In the days following the board meeting, Lila felt a surge of energy and motivation. The approval of her project had not only validated her efforts, but also reignited her passion for her work at Brightspace. She dove headfirst into the planning phase, eager to turn her vision into reality. Lila organized a kickoff meeting with the newly formed task force, which included Emma, the new project manager, and several other team members who had expressed interest in the initiative. As they gathered in the conference room, Lila felt a sense of camaraderie and excitement in the air. "Thank you all for being here," Lila began, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "I'm thrilled to have such a talented team on board for this project. Together, we have the opportunity to make a significant impact on our company and the industry as a whole." Emma smiled, her eyes bright with anticipation. "I've been reading up on sustainable materials, and I can't wait to dive into this project. It feels like we're part of something really important." Lila nodded, appreciating Emma's enthusiasm. "Absolutely. Our first step will be to conduct a comprehensive market analysis to identify potential partners and assess the feasibility of our project. I want each of you to bring your unique skills and insights to the table." As the team brainstormed ideas and assigned tasks, Leela felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer just fighting to keep her position. She was leading a project that could redefine Brightspace's future. The energy in the room was palpable, and Leela knew they were on the brink of something great. Over the next few weeks, the team worked diligently, gathering data, reaching out to potential partners, and developing a strategic plan. Leela made it a point to foster an open and collaborative environment, encouraging everyone to share their ideas and concerns. She wanted to ensure that each team member felt valued and empowered. However, as the project progressed, Lila couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah was watching her closely. There were moments when she would catch Sarah observing her from a distance, her expression inscrutable. Lila knew that Sarah was still wary of her newfound influence and was likely looking for any opportunity to undermine her efforts. One afternoon, as Lila was reviewing the latest market analysis with Emma, Sarah entered the conference room unannounced. "I'd like to see what you've been working on," she said, her tone neutral, but her eyes sharp. Lila felt a knot form in her stomach but maintained her composure. "Of course, Sarah. We've been making great progress. Let me show you our findings." As Lila presented the data, she could sense Sarah's scrutiny. "This is all very interesting, Lila," Sarah said, her voice laced with skepticism. "But have you considered the potential risks involved in partnering with these suppliers? We need to be cautious." Lila took a deep breath, reminding herself to stay calm. "Absolutely, Sarah. We're currently assessing the risks and developing contingency plans. I believe that with careful planning we can mitigate any potential issues." Sarah nodded, but Lila could see the doubt lingering in her eyes. "I expect regular updates on your progress. This project is a significant investment for the company, and I want to ensure we're on the right track." "Of course," Lila replied, her voice steady. "I'll keep you informed every step of the way." As Sarah left the room, Lila felt a mix of frustration and determination. She knew that Sarah would continue to challenge her, but she was ready to face whatever obstacles lay ahead. This project was too important to let anyone derail her efforts. In the following weeks, Lila and her team continued to make strides. They secured meetings with several sustainable materials suppliers and began drafting a proposal for a pilot project. Lila felt a sense of pride as she watched her vision come to life, and she was grateful for the support of her team. One evening, as Lila was wrapping up her work, she received a message from William Harrison. "Lila, I'd like to discuss your project further. Can we meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.? Lila's heart raced with anticipation. This was an opportunity to share her progress with the chairman and potentially gain further support for her initiative. She spent the evening preparing for the meeting, reviewing her notes and anticipating the questions William might have. The next morning, Lila arrived at William's office, her nerves tingling with excitement. "Thank you for meeting with me, William," she said, taking a seat across from him. "Of course, Lila. I've been hearing great things about your project," he replied, a smile on his face. "I wanted to hear directly from you about your progress and any challenges you're facing." Lila felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, William. I'm excited to share our findings. We've made significant progress in identifying potential partners and assessing the feasibility of our pilot project." As she presented her updates, Lila could see William's interest growing. He asked insightful questions and offered valuable feedback, and Lila felt a sense of validation as she discussed her vision for the project. "I'm impressed with your leadership, Lila," William said as they wrapped up the meeting. "I believe this initiative has the potential to set Brightspace apart in the industry. Keep up the great work." Lila left William's office feeling invigorated. She had gained the support of the chairman, and she was more determined than ever to make this project a success. With each passing day, she felt more confident in her abilities and her role within the company. As the weeks turned into months, Lila and her team worked tirelessly to bring their sustainable construction initiative to life. They had successfully secured partnerships with several reputable suppliers, and the pilot project was set to launch in just a few weeks. The excitement in the office was palpable, and Lila felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together. However, as the launch date approached, Lila sensed an undercurrent of tension. Sarah had become increasingly critical, often questioning the team's decisions and pushing for more conservative approaches. Lila knew that Sarah was still wary of her leadership and was determined to prove her wrong. One afternoon during a team meeting, Sarah interrupted Lila as she was outlining the final steps for the pilot project. "I think we need to reconsider some of these suppliers. Are we sure they can meet our quality standards?" she asked, her tone skeptical. Lila felt her frustration rising but maintained her composure. "We've conducted thorough evaluations, Sarah. These suppliers have a proven track record in sustainable materials, and I believe they align with our project goals." Sarah crossed her arms, her expression unyielding. "I just want to ensure we're making the right choices. This project is a significant investment, and we can't afford any mistakes." Lila took a deep breath, reminding herself to stay focused. "I appreciate your concern, Sarah. However, I believe that taking calculated risks is essential for innovation. We've done our due diligence, and I'm confident in our decisions." The meeting ended with a sense of unresolved tension, but Lila refused to let it deter her. She was determined to see the project through to its successful launch. With the support of her team, she continued to push forward, finalizing details and preparing for the big day. Finally, the day of the pilot project launch arrived. Lila stood in front of the construction site, her heart racing with excitement and anticipation. The team had worked hard to prepare for this moment, and she was proud of what they had accomplished. As the sun rose, illuminating the site, Lila gathered her team for a final pep talk. "Today is a significant milestone for all of us," she said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "We're not just launching a project, we're setting a new standard for sustainable construction. Let's show everyone what we can achieve together." The team cheered, their spirits high as they prepared to unveil the pilot project. Lila felt a surge of pride as she watched her colleagues work together seamlessly, each person contributing their unique skills to bring the vision to life. As the day progressed, Lila received positive feedback from stakeholders and community members who had come to witness the launch. The project was a resounding success, showcasing innovative materials and practices that highlighted Brightspace's commitment to sustainability. Later that evening, Lila hosted a small celebration at the office to commemorate the successful launch. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and camaraderie as the team reflected on their journey. Lila felt a deep sense of gratitude for the support of her colleagues and the opportunity to lead such an impactful initiative. As the night wore on, Lila found herself standing outside on the balcony, gazing at the city skyline. She felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She had faced challenges, navigated office politics, and emerged stronger than ever. This project had not only transformed her career, but had also solidified her place within Brightspace. Just then, Emma joined her on the balcony, a smile on her face. "Lila, I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership. This project has been a game changer for all of us." Lila turned to Emma, her heart swelling with pride. "Thank you, Emma. I couldn't have done it without the support of the team. We all played a part in this success." As they stood together, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance, Lila felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that she had the skills, the support, and the determination to make a difference. In the months that followed, Lila continued to lead the initiative, expanding its reach and impact. She became a respected figure within the company, known for her innovative ideas and unwavering commitment to sustainability. Sarah, while still cautious, began to recognize Lila's contributions and even offered her support on future projects. Lila had not only reclaimed her position, but had also transformed her role into one of leadership and influence. She had proven that with hard work, determination, and a willingness to take risks, anything was possible. As she looked toward the future, Lila felt a sense of excitement and possibility. She was ready to continue pushing boundaries, inspiring her team, and making a lasting impact on the construction industry.